So you want to learn how to play Loxodont. I think Loxodont is a very cool character in Rivals 2. I currently have access to the closed beta, and I also got to play with Loxodont at Genesis X and compete in bracket, and I did pretty okay, placing 65th out of 256 entrants. So I like to think that I know what I'm doing. Am I a professional Rivals of Aether player? No. Am I a professional Smash player? No. Am I a professional any kind of player? No, I just like making content. So here you go, I'm making some more content for you. But Loxodon is the character I've been playing the most in the beta, and is the character that I'd say I'm the most familiar with in general when it comes to Rivals 2. So, what makes Loxodon good? Loxodon is, you know, Loxodon fits into the category of characters that, you know, is traditionally bad. He is big, he is slow, he is heavy. These are all things that are traditionally awful in platform fighters because it makes you combo through. It makes you a character that other characters can take advantage of very easily. Zetterburn, for example, can do some nasty stuff like wave shine you. It's not fun. But I still think Loxodon has the tools to compete in a game like Rivals 2, and I want to show you why. I want to show you how I think Loxodon can compete. So, what makes Loxodon different from other heavies in a game like Smash Bros? Loxodon is somebody with disjoint. He's got a very long-range axe that gives him a lot more space to work with compared to other heavies. Now, there are some heavy archetypes that have disjoints, such as King DDD, but what makes Loxodon different from a character like King DDD is that, relatively speaking, he is much faster than a lot of other heavies with a sword, right? Problem is that in the context of the Rivals 2 engine, Loxodon is still one of the slowest characters in the game. He's a lot faster than a character would be in Smash Bros, but characters in general are a lot faster than they would be in Smash Bros. So, in the context of Rivals 2, Loxodon is slow, but that's okay. Like, when you can still move around like this, I don't think it being one of the slower characters in the game matters all that much, right? So, one of the main things that I think makes Loxodon really, really good is this move, is NAir. NAir is just a spinning hitbox around you that has relatively low end lag and just covers a ton of space. And this leads into one of the things that I think Loxodon is really good at, his combo game. You can just kind of like throw this move out and it will do the work of comboing for you. It's so easy to link this move into itself, into other moves, into potentially down air. Like there's a lot of potential behind this move, and as someone who has only barely scratched the surface of Loxodon, I am excited to see the potential future of this character. So what makes him stand out compared to other characters, other heavy archetypes? Loxodon is a character that can stand his ground. When Loxodon throws out moves like down tilt, any of his specials, he puts out this like eruption on the ground, this like magma rift. And as you can see, now I am covered in this like magma. I like to call it magma armor, but it doesn't actually provide any defensive qualities besides just making him look cool. What this instead does is it slightly changes how his moves works and also makes his offense a lot more potent. So the main changes that it makes is that without this magma armor, Loxodon's smash attacks will look something like this. They're slow, heavy, hard-hitting, but there's nothing really special about them. But if you have a charge of magma armor, and you can have up to 3 charges of magma armor, once you stand in the magma rift, and it does that like little glow thing, it'll go away. But once you have this magma armor, you can then do this, and Loxodon will throw out a smash attack that will then have a follow-up hit after the attack. So if we move into the frame advance, I can show you what this looks like in more detail. So when he throws out the smash attack, it has the normal hit... Oh, I need to turn on hitboxes. It has the normal hitbox as usual, but when the move finishes, these particles will then erupt, giving him a second hitbox. And this is very important because when Loxodon hits somebody's shield with this move, if you have this secondary explosion hitbox, it makes this move a lot safer to use. Because otherwise Loxodon is very laggy and like these moves take forever for him to finish. But if there's something else there to prevent the opponent from running in and immediately punishing you, like you might still get punished for like smash attacking somebody's shield, but the punish isn't going to be as hard. So that's one use of the Magma Armor. Another use of the Magma Armor is in Loxodon's down special. Without any Magma charge, Loxodon will just kind of do this like little stall thing in the air, which is still useful and still has a lot of potential applications. I think you can even B-reverse it, yeah. So like you can fastball during it too. I just learned that. That's cool. But when Loxodon has these charges, he then gains a movement option in a burst of speed, and this down special also changes based on how many charges you have. So this is with 2 charges, and let's see what it looks like with 3 charges. Loxodon goes all the way over there, and that's important for many different reasons. Loxodon needs Magma Armor in order to like be a good character. That's kind of how I feel about Loxodon. When Loxodon doesn't have any of these charges, he's a lot more limited in how he can approach the game. Without Magma charges, Loxodon kind of struggles to get in. If the opponent's just like spamming projectiles and running away from Loxodon, it's really hard for him to get in and get that first hit. But with a charge of this Magma Armor, you gain mix-ups, you gain burst options, you gain all the ability to move in, and more importantly, when you get sent off stage, you have different ways to recover. And I'll get more into recovery in a bit. But generally speaking, as a Loxodon main, what I try to do is always make sure I have Magma Armor on me. And the way I get that is by getting stage control. If I hit my opponent away, I immediately will throw out a move that then sets up a Magma Rift. And I just try to like hold to that Magma Rift as much as possible until I can get the charges. And I want to be using the charges as much as possible. Like, when I have the opportunity to like throw out a smash attack and have it be safe, I'll use it. If I feel like I can be aggressive and like come in with this move, I'll do that. And then I just set up another Magma Rift. And the important thing is, whenever you set up these Magma Rifts, you need to stand back and watch your opponent. Watch how they want to get in and approach you. Because if they're not going to approach you, you just stand over here and you just throw meatballs at them. That's what I'm calling the move. I don't know its official name, but it's a meatball, and there is a chef skin coming that proves it. You want to just stand your ground and let your opponent approach you. And when they approach you, you box them out. You use your massive disjoints to just like say, nope, this is my stage, stay away from me. And then you put down a Magma Rift and you do it again. And then if you get lucky, you can then use all these Magma charges to combo into something like that. There's a lot of potential behind this Magma, and it's an essential part of his kit. And this is something that's key to like Rivals design in general. Having elements that like affect the stage, and then you use those that stage control to then further your own game plan. That's kind of key to like every character's design in Rivals. And Loxodon's is just more about like standing your ground. One of the most interesting and unique moves on Loxodon is his F-tilt. When you do the first hit of F-tilt, it pulls the opponent in like that. And you can follow up with practically anything you want. You can just finish the F-tilt combo like that. You can F-tilt into a jab. No, you can't. You can F-tilt into down tilt. You can. One of my favorite things to do is F-tilt into a grab. There's a lot of different things you can do with F-tilt. It's very cool. The other thing that makes Loxodon really strong in this game, I feel, is his tech chase potential. Tech chasing is a term for when you put your opponent in a knockdown state, and then you follow how they get out of that situation. Because of Loxodon's NAir, it can cover 2 different tech options at once. So if I do a side B here, and I expect my opponent to roll out here, or if I move into this position, NAir will hit either if they stay behind me or go in front of me. Same thing if I'm expecting them to roll me, right? Throw it out here. If they miss their tech, great. I can also follow up with that in other ways. And there's a lot more you can do than just NAir. I like NAir because it's the simplest and easiest option, but you can follow up with stronger options if needed. So, for example, like in that situation, that throws them straight down. If I just immediately went into like a down smash if they missed their tech, like there's a lot of different things that you can do. But The point being, Loxodon is all about setting up these tech chase situations and then following up what your opponent does next. And as long as you can stay on your opponent and keep them feeling pressured, Loxodon is in a great position to do well. And then once your opponent's at high enough percent, you send them off stage, you throw meatballs at them, you get your magma armor. That's kind of like Loxodon's game plan in a nutshell, is just put yourself in a position where you can have stage control and slowly kind of reclaim center stage. His combo game is good enough that you can like knock them off stage, keep them there. You want to like grab ledge, do all sorts of things. You got, the world is your oyster when you are in control of the world. When you aren't in control of the stage, when you aren't in control of the world, what you need to do is get back to it. And that's why it's super important to have that magma stored. Because when I'm glowing like this and my opponent like smash attacks me and sends me all the way out here, I can mix up how I recover. Which, speaking of which, let's get into that. So recovering as Loxodon is actually kind of tricky because Loxodon unfortunately has one of the worst recoveries in the game. Side B puts you into free fall, and there's not much you can do out of that unless you hit a wall. So if you go into a wall, you can then wall jump after you hit the wall. And you saw that I also did another technique there, air dodging. Air dodging in Rivals is a lot more safe than it would be in like a Smash game. When you directional air dodge, you still have access to all of your options that you did before. So you can air dodge, double jump, up B, and that's totally fine. Rivals gives you a lot more expression and freedom off stage than other Smash games. You can also, the thing about like Loxodon side B, as long as you hit a wall, even though you're in free fall, you can then wall jump off of it and still recover. So Loxodon is a lot about that. And then when it comes to like making it back to the stage, his up B, it's not great. I've died with this move several times already during this beta. You kind of have to space it. If you like throw it out like this, where the axe is kind of like close to the wall but not you might not grab ledge. So be careful about that. Something I like to do though when I am Loxodon is if I do manage to grab ledge, I can do that 2 times and still have some ledge invincibility. But once I do it too many times, I no longer have invincibility, and I can show that with hitboxes. So I've grabbed ledge stage twice, and now I don't have invincibility anymore. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you can re-grab ledge once and still maintain invincibility. And so as Loxodon, you can kind of just like be here, do this twice, and then see what your opponent does and maybe hit them for it. Or if they're respecting your space when you do stuff like this, just jump back on stage, you'll be fine. So let's go into everyone's favorite part of learning a character, how to get kills. So Loxodon has several moves that I think are quite good for killing. Let's build the percent up and set up a save state. Love this feature of the Rivals 2 beta. Can't wait to have a more robust training system in the main game. But let's save this state and go back. Okay, so one of the main ways that I think you should try to get kills is with back air. Back air is a very powerful move that has a lot going for it. However, there are some downsides. Back air kind of has a small hitbox. If you are too close to your opponent, you'll just whiff the attack. And even then, sometimes you don't get the strong hit. But when you do get the strong hit, you saw how far out he got sent. This is one of the largest stages in the game, and that nearly killed. So finding the back air is essential for getting the kills as Loxodon. So how do we set that up? One way we can do it is through down air. Down air is this massive spike that has a ton of hit left behind it, hit stun. And so what you can do is you can just back air, down air into back air, and that's a pretty consistent way to set that up. Something else that you can do, you can hit the meatball into back air. And that just kills. I've been able to combo across the entire stage with that, where I just like hit somebody with a meatball from over here, run up, back air, and it just works. Edge guarding is also pretty important as Loxodon. The best way to get edge guard is just with this forward air. It's huge. It covers a lot of space. You just when you're recovering though, you can't do up B. You have to like side B into the stage first to get a wall jump, so that way you can make it back. So another way that you can get kills with Loxodon, people may not be expecting, is forward throw. Forward throw sends at an ugly angle, right? It's very strong, and if people aren't DIing it correctly, you can send them really far. But if people do DI it correctly, they live a lot longer. That's just kind of true of everything in Rivals. If something is DI'd properly, people don't die. So you have to be very careful about how you mix up how you get your kills, right? Loxodon is a pretty awesome character. He's got a lot of sauce and potential behind him, and I'm really excited to play him in the main game. There are some aspects, like Loxodon has weaknesses. He's slow, he doesn't have the best frame data. A good example of that, Loxodon's jab starts on frame 7. You can see that with the number underneath it. A character like Zetterburn, their jab is on frame 3. So Loxodon does not have the fastest attacks in the game, but he's got massive range, he's still got great combo gain, even though his frame data is not as great as many other characters in the cast. His kill power is among the best in the game, and generally speaking, Loxodon can just wall out his opponents, and as long as you have your Magma armor charged up, you can do anything you can imagine. So, thank you all for watching. I hope that this was helpful for you. I know that this isn't the most in-depth Loxodon guide, but I hope that what it does is provide you with a sense of a game plan and an idea of what you need to do in order to win games as Loxodon. He's a lot of fun, and I've had so much fun playing as him in this beta, and I'm hoping that as the betas continue, that they just improve upon this general game plan of Loxodon. I don't know what is going to change about this character, and I don't know how long this guide will hold true for. But I do hope that this core game plan of like standing your ground and being this slow-moving wall of hitboxes and stuff remains, because I think that's a very strong aspect of this character, and I'm looking forward to expanding on it more in the future. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing week and an even better Tuesday.